Hey everybody, as you can imagine, making all the motorcycle videos and bike reviews that I do, I've experimented with a lot of different types of mounts for putting cameras on motorcycles. Now, in recent years, I've been using this Insta360 1X, and I think this is kind of revolutionised making videos for me because it allows me to have one camera on the bike, get multiple angles. It just simplifies my life a lot. Complicates as well as simplifying, but one of the main problems with using cameras like this is having a decent mount that will hold on to it and not vibrate it to death. And after lots of experimentation, I think I've found a mount now that is both cheap and very good. Let's get going because I'm actually testing this one. This is a different mount. The base is the same as the one I'm going to recommend to you, the one I've been using for a while now, but this one is new. Gives a little bit more flex and options. Now it's a very grey day today, so the Insta360 footage might not be quite as good as it usually is. This camera loves to have lots and lots of light, and well, it was light this morning. It was sunny and autumnal and beautiful, and now it's grey and misty. Oh well. Now this comes down to bar mounts really, because it's basically a mount that will clamp onto a bar and you can attach your camera to. Now I've experimented with, as I say, with many different ones. The best one that I found to date that actually was reliable was the drift mount. However, that has some inherent problems to do with stability because it doesn't ever lock up properly. A design flaw in the way that the ratcheting system that holds the head still isn't actually fully attached to the plastic and it kind of slips over time. I've super glued mine. I've still got adjustment in them, but just doesn't lock the way it used to. I've tried various ones off of eBay. They're all a bit rubbish, you know, the type that you get with GoPros. Insta360's one that comes with this, the motorcycle kit. That's no good. It wobbles around way too much because they've got this like spinning head on it that gives you a 360 degree. It's rubbish. These though, these ones I've found are way better. Are you going to survive this? Oh, it's doing okay. It's doing okay so far. Is it going to unscrew itself? Nope. Fantastic. I had to super glue something. I'll get onto that in a minute. I need to stop and actually show you exactly what I'm using and why I believe these are the best cheap mounts that I've found. It's also worth mentioning at this point, if you're curious about the Insta360 1X, I have a review on it. And since then I had some problems with it. You know, as I say, I had some software related issues where the studio software was basically not working because of the updates they've done for the 1R. I've also done a video on the 1R, not the biggest fan of it. But anyway, the 1X is now reliable and fantastic again. It's not a cheap camera, but this really has sort of revolutionised the way that I do videos. I have two cameras and as many angles as I want pretty much. Yeah, that'll do. So if you remember in the past, I TIG welded up like this bracket cage that connected round here and up here, and it sat like here, and it worked great, but I didn't like the look of it. I took the mirrors off this bike a long time ago, but now I have this righteous stunt clutch. I definitely can't put that one back, and I've still got the socket on this side, which is normally blanked off, but I'm using this arm. It's actually off of Betty's first set of super short ones, and then this is the clamp I use. Let's go and have a quick look. Okay, so these are the clamps I'm talking about. They're made by a company called Smallrig. They're available on Amazon. This configuration is actually an Amazon choice, and normally that puts me way off things, but these are actually really good. This one was about £15. The other one that I was using at the beginning of this video that I've had to glue something on to try and make it lock up, I'll show you in a second, was also £15. This is a full metal construction. This is all metal, 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 metal. This bar here that you use for tightening it up, metal. It's got rubber pieces in here to help protect it. I'll show you how the head works in a minute, but this opens very, very wide, so that pretty much can grab, there we go, any area of a motorcycle that you might need it to. A big bar, a small tube, a side thing, a foot peg, anything pretty much will fit in there. And then it goes down small enough, and this was the important thing for me, that I could get hold of and actually clamp a mirror stem. So yeah, have a look on the Amazon store if you want to see the exact sizing of these things, but I can tell you that that clamps onto a mirror stem, and bigger it will clamp onto, well, some pretty big things. Once that's clamped in place, you've obviously got this going on where you can move it in all directions. The nice thing about this is you get the camera where you want it, and then you just tighten up this one screw, and it's solid. Now this is the thing about nearly all of the mounts that I've used up until now, they're never that solid. Even when you just put them on the bike, you can normally move the camera a bit. As soon as you get going, everything starts slacking off. This, with a good twist on here, is absolutely locked. If you undo it, so you can move that down here, spin it around here, say, we'll just do it up there. Again, solidly locked. This is, without question, forgetting price and everything, the best handlebar mount I have found for attaching GoPros and cameras and stuff to motorcycles. Of course, these can be clamped onto anything you want to clamp with, but if you need something that's got a good amount of rigidity to it, but also flexibility of movement, so you can, you know, for me, what it is being able to go onto any motorcycle I'm reviewing and find a place to clamp a camera on that will do the job. This has been doing that better than anything I've used up until now. That big bar as well that allows you to get a massive amount of clamping force on it. The only thing I would like, though, is if you could remove this handle. So I would be quite happy to have this as a tool in my pocket and just have a nut end on here and then tighten it up and then take the handle off, so I don't have to deal with this being in shot or flapping around or anything. So there's an improvement I'd like to see, but as I say, as is, best handlebar mount I've ever used. Problem is though, it's quite low profile, so if you want a bit more room, then they make this one. And let me just loosen this off. So we're dealing with the exact same clamp, and in fact you can unscrew these parts off of these clamps, so you can buy these clamps on their own, you can buy different ends. It's very modular, all the bits that Smallrig do, and it all seems pretty nice quality for the price. Now this is 15 quid, so it's the same price as this one, but this gives you a bit of an extension. You can see there's a ball here and a ball here, and it does the whole, you know, flop around, move about, and then you choose one position, it clamps it and locks it in place. What I've super glued on this is, and I was going to use some Loctite, but I don't have any green stuff. I know the blue wouldn't do it, I don't think. So I've super glued this because I'm not planning on doing it. Is this thread here, which screws into the body, I've now super glued that in. If I want to get it out, I just need to undo this, heat that up a bit, and I'll get it out. But the point is, I don't want to. And it was undoing itself under load. Now it's completely solid, so that's great. These both have this large hole here for something else to attach to. I'm not sure what that's for, but you know, it's worth mentioning there is something there. Looks about 10 mil? Yeah, around 10 mil I'd say. The shiny marks you're seeing here are the super glue remnants from this. I'm sure it'll wear off over time. Now, as I say, I've only just glued this one. I haven't used this much. I don't fully put my word that this is a great one yet on it. This one, yes, but as I say, it's quite low profile. For a mirror, though, it's fine because you just put it further up the mirror. I don't see why these would break, honestly. They are so solid. They're so nicely made because they're simple, but they're machined well. They fit well. The tolerances seem good. They tighten up very tight. It's great work. As I say, I bought these off my own back, my own money. I have no connection with Smallrig, but if they do want to send me some more of these, go for it. I'm not going to complain. Right, so the way that I've been attaching this onto here, as I say, I've got this stem from a wing mirror, and you just clamp that around there. And because you've got this nice T-handle that you can slide out, you can really clamp that down without too much trouble. As you can see, that is locked in place. One important thing to do with these, both of them, is when you're attaching the camera, screw this plate all the way down, screw the camera as down as you can within reason, and then tighten that back up that way. It will give you a much better grip up than trying to halfway through the thread, just turning this into the camera. It just doesn't work as well. So now you can see that we can clamp this at any of these positions, and because this is the Insta360 technically it's fine because there's a 360 camera, and other than stitch lines I can put this anywhere and get the video back out in any orientation that I want. So I could put it like that if I wanted, I could put it like that, but I think I just want it in a natural sort of place around there. that about right? Yeah. So then we just need to turn this screw, which is a metal screw, and it's all metal inside. This is metal, that's metal, everything is metal. So I'm not too scared about putting some proper tension on it. Like so. You know, you can still move it a little bit like this, but it will lock up. And as long as it doesn't move, that should be fine. As I say, the one that I've glued up is actually what screws this main piece into this clamp, just because it kept undoing itself. So now that's glued in place, we shouldn't have that problem. So this is a pretty good test for this, to be fair. This is more bumpy and undulating than most roads, although it is the sharp smacks that you get from speed bumps and stuff that unhook screws, or should we say untighten screws. It's that impact that does it. Well, that's fantastic news. It would seem like this extendable one is doing absolutely fine. It doesn't look like it's going to go anywhere. So that's good stuff. However, you'd like to see the versatility of this, right? So I guess I need to put it on some different places on the bike just to see where I can attach it. So just undone that. I've left this piece of rubber on the end of here for some vibration mitigation, but you don't need to do that. You can just clamp this. Should point this out, because obviously I've said about this clamping onto mirror stems, and you're like, wait, that's not on the normal mirror stem. There you go, that is on the mirror stem, and that is a very thin one as far as mirror stems go. They're normally a couple of mil more than that, so not been a problem. Right, well, where should we try now? Should we try here? Now, in this situation, you want to make sure, whatever bike you're riding, that you're not going to shove that into the side of the tank, which I'm not. I do want to go more vertical, so round that way. Loosen. Oh, there's an angle it can't do. Is there any way of getting around that? Not quite, because you need the base to be one way and the neck to be another, and it's not going to do it. But it actually doesn't matter with this camera. I could have it sideways and it'd be fine. But let's just stick it there. Ideally, you always want to use the shortest mount that you can, because then that will reduce the vibrations and the inertia it's going to have when you start and stop and things like that. But so far, it's been really quite impressive how well this little thing is working with this little extension on it. You might recognise it as almost exactly the same as a ram mount that's made, but I think this works out a little bit cheaper. I think also the ram mount is a plastic and metal sort of mixture, rather than all metal pretty much. But don't quote me too much on that. I don't own a ram mount. I've never owned a ram mount. I've only just seen them, and people say they're very, very good. But I think they're a little bit more expensive than this. I might be wrong. I might be wrong. I'm just saying I know it looks like a ram mount that exists. If it can hold off these vibrations, it's an absolute win. How's it doing back there? Well, there you go. That is the Smallrig bar mounts, clamp mounts, whatever you want to call them. As I say, the smaller one is the one that I've used the most, and I can absolutely say that thing has been solid as a rock. Yes, I've had to super glue this to stop that undoing, but that doesn't seem to be a problem now. And this seems rigid enough that it's holding in place. So my experience with this long extension version is only what you've seen in this video, but so far it seems fine. If it was going to start moving, it would have moved by now. And it's not, so that's great. As I say, wasn't sent these or anything like that. I literally bought these with my own money from Amazon, and they're great. I've put these on my Amazon storefront, link in the description, if you want to check them out. And I've also got some other camera equipment and bits and pieces I use in there if you want to check those out too. So there we go. Enough talking. Get out there and have fun. Catch you next time.